Welcome back to Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kristie. We've got some more great Reddit stories for you today, so let's jump in.
Am I the asshole for saying if you break, you buy?
I mean, that kind of is the expected rule, isn't it?
I recently hosted a dinner party for my friends, and I allowed them to bring their significant others and plus ones. One of my best friends of many years brought her boyfriend, whom I have never met until now. During said party, her boyfriend wanted to show off his ability to do a handstand.
Oh no, he's like just meeting these people, and what is he, 5 years old? Hey, look what I can do, look what I can do.
That's gotta be what he said before he did it, right?
Yeah.
Effectively knocking into one of my tables and shattering a lot of expensive pottery and glassware. No one was hurt, but everything was shattered beyond repair.
That's not something you do in someone's home. You do that in a yard.
On your first time meeting someone, you don't start a handstand?
Not in their home.
How do you make friends, Kristie? My best friend apologized, and I said it was fine. I just wanted the items that were damaged to be replaced. I'd like to clarify that the items were expensive for what they were, vases and ornamental bowls, because they were made by small artists. But they were not expensive overall. I'd reckon about $40 to $80 per item he broke, and he broke 3. He also has a stable job and is more than monetarily able to replace the items from the original sellers. I would also like to specify that this party had more of a classy dinner party vibe. No one was drinking excessively, all my friends are in their mid to late 20s, and her boyfriend was actually older, early 30s.
So it wasn't a frat party. No keg stands, not expecting things to get broken.
However, he seemed to be unable to read the room throughout the whole party, and just had such a hyper energy, hence the random showing off of the handstand. This is also why I didn't put away everything, because I believe if he didn't do the handstand, nothing would have happened to the decor. I think generally, when you have a bunch of 20 and 30-year-olds over to your house, you don't expect them to do a handstand and break things.
Yeah, it's like, I think when you're throwing a classy dinner party, kinda, you don't feel like you have to put away the stuff for fear of it being broken. That's what you do in college when you're throwing a rager.
My friend asked if instead her boyfriend could just replace the items with stuff from IKEA or Marshall's. I said no, as I want the original items that were broken. She responded that I was being unreasonable asking for such expensive vases, and that it was an accident. I pointed out how preventable the accident was. Am I the asshole for asking for replacements for what was broken if it was expensive and an accident?
I don't know. In my opinion, everyone sucks here. If I did something stupid and broke things at someone's house when I was a guest, I would offer to pay for it to replace them because I'd feel really bad. But if I was hosting a party and someone broke something and it was only like a few $100s, I might be like, no, it's okay, and try and be polite and be a good host and tell them they didn't need to pay. And these people are both taking the opposite stance of what I would do.
I think you're taking a weird mentality to this.
Really?
Because you're like, no, whatever happened, I'm the asshole. I feel like that's what you're doing. Like, oh, I broke that, I will pay. Oh, you broke that? It's okay.
No conflict.
Yeah.
It's accidents happen, but if it's my fault, I'll pay for it. If it's your fault, it's okay. Everybody needs to just chill out and be happy and not get in a fight.
I don't know. I feel like he was being a little reckless. Personally, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask him to replace the stuff.
Okay, I will say, I'm thinking more of an accident where they just happen to bump into something and knock it over. This guy was being reckless and he was being an asshole, doing a handstand in someone else's house. Definitely an asshole. He should have offered to replace the items.
Yeah, right? This is not a situation of she walked by the table and her dress snagged on the edge and it jostled and something fell off.
Yeah, no.
He was like, look at me, watch me do a flip.
Reckless negligence.
So no, I'd say that he's the asshole, and if you want these items replaced, you're not the asshole. Especially because you've never met this person, right?
Yeah.
It's not like he has any social karma towards you.
Yeah, if it's a friend, you might let them off the hook and be like, hey, stuff happens. Maybe someday I'll break something of yours. You let me off the hook. It's a back and forth give and take with friends. This is a stranger.
Pretty much, right? As a stranger that decided to do a handstand.
I can't believe someone in their 30s is like, dinner party, time to show off my handstands. That's the whole thing about this is that is flabbergasting.
I mean, he was the oldest person at the party, so I would not be surprised if he's like, no, I'm not that old. I can still do a handstand.
I'm young and cool like you 20-year-olds.
I would bet money that that's what he said before he decided to do a handstand.
At least to himself.
Right? Top comment. Not the asshole. Doing a handstand, especially at a perfect stranger's house, is a stupid thing to do. Doesn't matter if you're sober or drunk. As the saying goes, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Oh, something else I wanted to bring up. Offering to replace your small artist, so it's like made in small quantities, this is very special and hard to find, art pieces with crappy stuff from IKEA? That's just rude. That's worse than being like, no, I'm not getting you anything, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of like downgrading the art, right?
Yeah.
That's like saying I didn't like that pot anyways.
It's okay. That pot was hideous and you have terrible taste in your home decor. I'll find you something nicer
Yeah.
at IKEA.
Yeah, not even like I'll go to that artist's shop and look for a new vase that I like. No, I'll go get you something on sale at IKEA. Maybe at an outdoor barbecue or in the pool. But in the house of a person you just met? No.
Yeah, don't do handstands at strangers' houses. No roughhousing. No showing off.
Yeah, be on your best behavior when you're meeting someone for the first
Yes.
time. Your girlfriend's friends. This dude must have felt self-conscious being the only one in his 30s with a bunch of 20-somethings and thought he was supposed to act like it's a keg party or something. Who knows what the heck he was thinking, but he broke things. He is now responsible for replacing said things for what they were worth, not at a lower price that suits him. Not the asshole.
Yeah.
And then my favorite comment. Mom? Mom! Mom! Look, Mom! Mom!
Mom, are you looking? Look what I can do. Mom, hey, Mom. Are you looking? Am I the asshole for not going to the birthday dinner my grandparents were hosting for me?
I mean, it does seem a little rude to stand your grandparents up when they're hosting a birthday dinner for you, but I don't know, maybe you had other plans and they didn't, clear it with you beforehand?
I've just turned 18 and my grandparents, my mom's parents, had arranged for the entire family to go to this fancy sushi restaurant near where we live. They invited everyone but my stepmom. I love sushi, however, I love my stepmom, we'll call her Katie, more, and I really wanted her there. Katie married my dad 5 years after my mom died, and she's never once tried to replace my mom. When it's Mom's birthday, Katie makes Mom's favorite meals for us all to share and is genuinely interested in hearing our stories about Mom. She's actively kept Mom's memory alive, and it's something my brother and sister and I are grateful for. Even if Katie had been invited, she has a severe fish allergy and can't risk any cross-contamination.
Yeah, at a sushi restaurant, I'm sure there's plenty of cross-contamination.
I'm sure it's hard to avoid cross-contamination at a sushi restaurant.
Right.
I asked my grandparents if we could move the dinner to another restaurant so that Katie could also attend, as I wanted her there, and suggested a steakhouse because I'd rather have Katie there than have sushi. They said no and that they didn't want someone like Katie there. Long before Katie and Dad got together, Katie was addicted to drugs. It's not something she has kept from us. We all know about it. She's spoken about it at church, which is how my grandparents know. She's been clean for over a decade.
Okay. I mean, sounds like grandparents need to move on.
They also told me that Katie isn't my mom and that she needs to stop acting like it.
It sounds like she's your mom. You can have more than one mom. And sounds like she's doing a pretty good job, too.
And she's not trying to erase the grandparent's daughter as OP's mom. She's keeping the memory alive. And that's really nice, not a lot of step-parents are that supportive about their partner's deceased spouse,
Yeah, I could understand grandparents not wanting to invite her if this was like a divorce situation, but it's not. Dad's allowed to move on at a certain point.
And grandparents should be glad that he married such a great woman who is being a nice, supportive mom to their grandkids.
But no, apparently she made a mistake in her past 10 years ago, and they will never forgive her for that.
My dad spoke with them and they reiterated that they didn't want Katie there. Katie told me she understood why I wanted her there, but that I shouldn't burn bridges with my grandparents. She said that we could celebrate another time as a family. Me, her and Dad, my brother and sister, my stepsister, and my twin half-siblings. That is a big blended family.
That's a full house.
On the day of the dinner, I told my dad that I wasn't going if Katie couldn't attend. I told him that if the person who I considered my bonus mom, who chose to love us equally and puts our happiness above her own, isn't invited, then I'm not going. Dad said he understood and that he would handle my grandparents. He called them that morning and told them that none of us would be attending as I had made the decision that I didn't want to go if Katie couldn't come. Since the day of the dinner, I've had messages from my mom's family saying that I've been brainwashed by Katie and my dad to forget who my real family are.
It's not them. It's your dad. Your dad and his partner, it sounds like. You gotta go with your immediate family first. What do you mean who your real family is?
Especially if, like, your immediate family is nice and supportive and not toxic, you know?
Yeah, you have a loving home. And your aunts and uncles are calling you up being like, they're not your real family? No, cut them out.
I know Katie's had abusive messages off them. I heard her crying last night as she and Dad talked about some messages she had received. Even my younger brother and sister have had messages telling them that the whole mess is Katie's fault. My grandparents have threatened to sue my dad for custody of my younger sister and brother, 16 and female, again. Apparently they had tried and failed to sue for custody when Dad and Katie got together because of Katie being a former addict. I'm starting to feel like this is my fault because I refused to go to the meal. Am I the asshole?
I wouldn't want to live with your grandparents, sounds like.
No, they do not sound very tolerant or supportive.
No, it sure sounds like Katie has really turned things around, and that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good for Katie. A lot of people can't manage that. If your grandparents are just the kind of bitter people that can't let somebody, like, have a second chance, I don't think they're really worth keeping around. Sorry.
Now, I will say, if grandparents are throwing this party for their grandchild, they do kind of have a right to say who is invited and who is not. But their reasons for not inviting Katie are bullshit. Also, OP has the right to say, hey, I'm just not going.
I think so. If they have the right to do the guest list, then you have the right to say I'm not going. I don't know if they have full rights to the guest list, honestly. It's your birthday party.
But they're paying for it.
I don't care. You can use that logic on a wedding or a birthday that your parents are throwing for you.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You're 18. You're plenty old enough to just tell them no. And if they want to take this to court again for custody of a pair of teenagers who are old enough to decide where they want to live.
Yeah, going for custody of your grandkids when they have a loving parent is asshole behavior.
Yeah, if they take this back to court again, you are plenty old enough to sway the judge by saying, like, this is the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of many judges that would break up an immediate family because of the grandparents' opinion without any evidence other than she used to do drugs.
More than a decade ago, yeah. Katie sounds great and supportive because she was like, it's okay, you can go without me. I don't want to, like, cause a ruckus. You should still go to your party with your grandparents. And that was really nice.
I feel like she's almost doing it to the detriment of herself, but I guess that's what a parent does sometimes.
And then Dad is awesome because when OP told him, I just don't want to go, Dad was like, I will handle it. I will talk to the grandparents and stuff.
Also the correct decision. You don't need to make your kid go and deal with a guilt trip from the grandparents.
Yeah. So his family sounds great, besides the grandparents. His immediate family sounds great.
Yeah. Dad and stepmom sound great. Mom's entire family seems a little off.
Top comment. Whoa. How in any way would you think you are the asshole? Your grandparents are the assholes. They said that they didn't want someone like Katie there. Threatened to sue my dad for custody of my younger and sister and brother. Again. That is the definition of asshole move. You, your dad, your siblings are lucky to have found this woman. Make sure she knows that and never forgets it. Neither should you. Also, much love for Dad for handling the grandparents. You are far, far away from any asshole, my friend.
Yeah, I agree. I can understand, though, needing a second opinion because grandparents are very good at guilt trips.
Yes. It sounds like your dad and Katie have honored your mom's memory by keeping her alive for you guys. It's hard to imagine that if your mom couldn't be here, that she wouldn't want her children to have a loving figure in their lives. Everyone should keep copies of all the messages being received. Unless there is some court order requiring contact with your brother and sister, it sounds like your dad needs to implement low or no contact for a while.
Sounds like it. The second that you threaten me with legal action, for my own protection, I'm going to have to start going low contact.
NTA, it sounds like your grandparents are having a hard time understanding that Katie isn't replacing your mom, nor is she trying to replace her, but rather is loving you and your siblings too, and that's a good thing. Your mom would want that because more people who love them that kids have in their lives, the better. Your siblings are also likely old enough that their opinions would be considered in any sort of custody case.
Yeah, I think you're pretty safe in not worrying that they're going to get custody of your siblings at this point. Although it is annoying that they're going to drag your parents into court possibly and waste everyone's time and money.
Yeah, that is definitely annoying.
Hey, if you're enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button.
We appreciate your support, and it lets us know that we should keep making videos like this for you guys to enjoy.
I also have one that's family drama.
Ooh, okay.
Am I the asshole for slapping my sister?
Well, I do feel like violence is never the answer, but did that bitch have it coming? I'm just trying to think. You're either, like, definitely the asshole for slapping for someone, or they definitely deserved it and you're not the asshole. So...
For context, I live with my parents, brother, and sister, all in quotes because we are all adopted. I am the oldest.
Okay.
My sister was recently adopted. She is very boisterous. She always wants to hang out with me. I don't want to hang out with her. She took my spot on the couch.
Outrage.
She sits there almost every night. She says she will share with me, but I don't want to sit with her. I want to sit without her.
Okay, she's talking like this is like an 8-year-old, but I don't think 8-year-olds are on Reddit.
I went to her to get her out of my seat, and she started following me around all excited. I got mad and slapped her. My parents told me not to slap my sister, but I feel my boundaries were being disrespected. They did tell my sister not to bother me, to be fair.
Sounds like parents need to get a little more involved than just being like, hey, don't do that.
But she was being really annoying.
Is this dogs? It's either dogs or cats, right?
Okay, so there is an update for context.
Okay.
They do give their ages and species. So, me, 14 male, beautiful and elegant cat. Brother, 12 male, dumb and annoying cat. Sister, 1.5 female, big dumb dog.
Okay, yeah.
But it was his spot.
It's been his spot for, how old is he, 14? For 14 years! And now this new interloper just appears and takes his spot. And not only is she taking his spot, she's stinking it up with her dumb dog smell.
Sorry, didn't expect you to figure it out so fast, so I don't have any rebuttals. But she always wants to hang out with him. She wants to be his friend, and they don't want to be friends.
I feel like that's Odin, our cat, and Juno, our other cat.
Yeah, nobody wants to be friends with Odin.
No, nobody likes Odin. Poor Odin. I mean, he is kind of an asshole and chases everybody and tackles them. Oh, you hear we're talking about you? Come here, you little asshole. Hi. Are you big mean bully who attacks everyone?
Top comment. Not the asshole. Cats rule, dogs drool.
Yes. Don't you agree, Odin?
Honestly, I get it. Your sacred couch spot got invaded by the overexcited dog, and that's just unacceptable for a refined cat like you. Still, maybe next time hiss or walk away instead of slapping. It keeps your dignity intact and proves you're the more evolved species. Honestly, buddy, you're at the age you don't need the drama. Sister needs to stay in her lane, you poor baby. I was really hoping you'd fall for that.
I did figure it out, but it took me a while. I was right at the end. I was like, these are cats and dogs, aren't they? Am I overreacting for snapping at my friend after she joked that I'm only engaged because my fiancé settled?
I mean, I think, like, every time somebody makes a joke, it depends a lot on their tone and the context. So, apparently they aren't good at reading a room if you snapped at them.
I, 30 female, got engaged 3 months ago to my fiancé, 32 male. My best friend, Jenna, 29 female, has always been a little competitive. But lately, she's been extra weird about my engagement. Last weekend, a few of us were out for drinks, and one of our mutual friends asked how wedding planning was going. I was mid-sentence when Jenna interrupted and said, I still can't believe he proposed. Honestly, I thought he was way out of your league.
Okay, seems a little out of left field.
Everyone laughed awkwardly, and I tried to laugh too, but I felt humiliated. Then she added, I mean, no shade, you got lucky. Some guys settle down once they realize perfection isn't real.
Okay, these don't sound like jokes.
I froze. Later that night, I told her that comment was mean, and she rolled her eyes and said I was too sensitive and can't take a joke.
Yeah, I think once people say you're too sensitive and you can't take a joke, they're the asshole.
I told her that real friends don't make jokes that sting like that and left early. She's been telling people I ruined the night over nothing. Am I overreacting for calling her out and leaving?
I mean, no, I don't think you were overreacting for calling her out. My only problem with you leaving is that you let Jenna have the floor after you left. But sometimes it's better just to walk away from the toxic person. And you did make a statement. Maybe your other friends were like, Jenna, that was really mean. Although Jenna has not backed down, so maybe they didn't make much progress with that. But no, it sounds like she said that with the intention to hurt you.
I feel like when people say no shade or no offense.
Oh, those are the most offensive.
They're really just saying, hey, I want to trash talk you, but you're not allowed to get mad at me about it.
It's very rare that you start a comment with no offense, but...
And then don't say something extremely offensive.
Yeah, that's just what you say to try to get away with saying something extremely offensive.
Top comment. That girl clearly shares a sense of resentment towards you, and the secret animosity is clear. She is not your friend. Drop her.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like she's not your friend.
She's jealous AF. She couldn't be making it more obvious. It even seems like she might have feelings for OP's fiancé. I don't think I could have this friend at my wedding after she said some stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, those comments do kind of heavily imply that she might have some sort of feelings, even if it's just like jealousy over such a good guy you got.
Yeah, she definitely thinks your fiancé is a catch.
Mm-hmm.
And that you don't deserve him because she deserves someone just as good as that and you don't.
Yeah, that's it exactly. This is the type of friend that does not want you to get married first.
It did say that Jenna is extremely competitive and she's probably upset that you got engaged and are getting married first.
Right.
When she's clearly the better choice. Why can't she get a guy like that?
Exactly. Why are all the good guys settling for these other women when Jenna is still around?
If she's willing to say that to your face, what do you think she's saying behind your back?
I mean, I'm sure all your friends know that information after you left.
Yeah, you left and left the floor open for Jenna, as you said, and Jenna probably trash-talked you all night.
Yeah, it just depends on if your friends were like, Jenna, that was mean, and then she spent the whole time complaining about how they called her mean, or if they just let her run her mouth.
Anyways, it might be time to drop Jenna as a friend. Because she's not actually your friend.
No, it sure doesn't sound like it.
I can't imagine saying that to anyone I liked, that your boyfriend is too good for you.
I would have to actually really dislike the person to say that. Or really like them, right? There's like a middle range where I would not say that. But like, my best friend, be like, oh yeah, she's way too good for you.
Yeah, best friends and siblings.
Best friends and siblings, yeah, like, oh, you get lucked out there.
But when you say it, it's obviously in a joking manner. I feel like Jenna was not joking.
From the way it was written, I tried to run it through my head a couple times in like a joking manner and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I played it up and said it like extremely toxically.
Yes.
But I can't even think of a way to say that and make it come across as actually joking and not just mean.
Yeah, no, I feel like those were just mean comments. Am I the asshole for not saying excuse me to a man blocking the grocery aisle?
If you didn't say excuse me, what did you do? Just plow him down and like run him over? Because that would be a little assholey. But what is really assholey is taking up the whole entire grocery store aisle. I hate people who do that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone likes the person who blocks the whole aisle for whatever reason. It's just really shows that you don't care about other people, right?
Yeah. Rude.
Hi, I feel like I'm in the right here, but I've been diagnosed with autism, and there have been social situations in the past where I've come to realize that I was indeed the asshole. So I want to get some feedback and make sure my feelings are aligned.
I might not be the person to ask.
Today I was grabbing a few things at the grocery store. A man was standing with his cart blocking the aisle. I was able to squeeze through by lifting my basket over my head and carefully sidestepping past the cart. I grabbed the item I wanted from the aisle and went past the same way, since I needed to get to the checkout. I did the same thing. I lifted my basket over my head and squeezed through the tight space left between the cart and the shelves. The man wheeled around and yelled at me. He said, "You could have just said excuse me. I'd move it if you asked." I said okay and left to the checkout. It's true I could have said something, but I feel like I shouldn't have to ask permission to a fellow shopper to access a grocery aisle. I didn't want to wait for him to move it if I could squeeze past with my basket. I also assumed that if he had been concerned enough to move the cart for other shoppers in the first place, that he wouldn't have been standing with his cart blocking the aisle. There was plenty of space to move the cart in a way that would have provided more room. I thought that if he had cared enough to move, he would have done it preemptively.
Yeah, he should have just moved. Because, like, if it was me and I saw someone coming, I'd be like, oh, let me scooch out of their way.
That's true. Did he see her coming, though?
I don't know. But he saw her obviously scooch past with her basket above her head. He should have been like, when he saw her coming back, been like, oh my gosh, I don't want to make her do that again. Let's move my cart. No, he let her scooch past twice with her basket above her head and just watched her silently and judged her for not saying, excuse me.
I am going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here. And if I saw somebody lift their basket above their head and scooch past my cart like they're fording a river, I might be so dumbstruck that I would just watch. Like, this lady did not say, excuse me. She didn't make any noise. She just scooched past, and I'd be like, I guess my cart's blocking the aisle, huh?
But I feel like that's something I would do. Like, if he's, like, staring at the shelves, I don't want to interrupt him if I can scooch past. I feel like making him move the cart is ruder than just scooching past.
Oh, that's because you don't do the grocery shopping in our house?
Yeah, I don't.
You get really jaded to that really fast.
Get out of the way!
Yeah, absolutely. Be like, excuse me, I guess gotta slide past. And then if they don't react, you just push their cart out of the damn way.
I have done that before where I'm like, if I can just move their cart 1 foot, I can just scooch past. So, like, they're off looking at something, and I just gently shove their cart out of the way. I don't want them to get mad at me for, like, touching their cart either, though.
I don't care about that anymore either. The grocery store I shop at is like the Wild West because it's in a very senior citizen heavy neighborhood.
Oh, no.
So it's just all lost old men waiting for their wives to shop while they sit like horizontally across the aisle. People chatting with each other on both sides of the aisle. It's like every bad situation in the grocery store happens in this grocery store. And I tend to go there later at night a lot of times. So there's also people restocking the shelves, and they just put their pallets in the middle of the aisle so a cart can't get past.
Uh-huh.
Nobody cares about anybody in that grocery store. I am convinced that most of the people I am shopping next to are serial killers. That sounds so mean to say. It's a little true. Like, I don't care if you go slow. Just don't go slow down the middle of the aisle, please.
Like, yeah, stick to the right side. There's a right side, lanes of traffic.
And there's also the guys who, when you start to walk around them, speed up.
Oh, I didn't realize I was going so slow. I better walk faster and not inconvenience anyone else except this guy who's trying to pass me.
Yeah, and now we're walking next to each other down the aisle and looking like crazy people because you won't slow down and let me finish passing. Sorry, I have a lot of grocery store etiquette opinions.
I haven't really done the grocery shopping myself in, like, years, so...
I just think that if you actually studied people's patterns in a grocery store, you could tell if they've killed, when they killed, and when they will kill again.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Sorry, I haven't even finished reading the post.
Oh, my goodness! We're not even done yet?
I honestly burst into tears when I got home. It's been a long week, and I'm on my period. I really do feel like I didn't do anything wrong, and he was probably just looking for an excuse to yell at someone. But my mind is so scrambled, and my hormones are so low, that I'm just wondering if I really am in the wrong. Am I the asshole?
Not the asshole, but bursting into tears when you get home might have been a little bit of an overreaction. I mean, I get hormones, but it also seems like maybe you have a bit of rejection, what is it called? Rejection dysphoria or something like that?
I'm not sure.
Where you are extremely sensitive to rejection, and any amount of rejection makes you feel like, I'm a terrible person and everybody in the world hates me.
I didn't know the word for it, but that is kind of what I was wondering, because what he said, if he said it in not a yelling tone and just in a stern tone, like you're being ridiculous tone,
yeah,
it still could have hurt her feelings, and he wouldn't be as much of the asshole.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's still an asshole for being unaware that you shouldn't block a grocery store aisle, but I get that sometimes it happens. You just aren't paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
There is a situation, I think, where he is fairly innocent.
She's already scooched past and past you. Why do you gotta bring it up? Just let her go.
Maybe he felt bad and just felt like he needed to be like, geez, I would have moved it if you asked, sorry. But I am playing devil's advocate a lot here.
Yeah.
I think chances are that he is at the grocery store to look for his next victim.
As most people do.
Yeah,
yes.
Anyone who's blocking an aisle in a grocery store is looking to kill again.
If that's true, there is a lot of killers out there.
There is. The world is a scary place.
Now, I don't know if they're actually killers, but they could be capable of it.
Yeah, they're definitely capable of it. Edit. This post has only been up for like a hot minute, but everyone from the NTAs to the YTAs and the Everyone Sucks here's have been helpful, and I want to thank you. It's helped me with my perspective on things. I've come to believe that both I and the man could have done better and did our best at the same time. I was stressed out by my own life stuff, and that's why I didn't say excuse me. And he probably has his own life stuff that caused him to lack spatial awareness and snap in the moment. One commenter mentioned the autism, and a funny thing about that is that while I was diagnosed by one doctor, the doctor after him thoroughly disagreed and thought he was stupid. So considering that I have been diagnosed as autistic by one and non-autistic by another, I think that probably means that I am half autist. Like one of those half-dragonkins from a fantasy novel.
Okay, as someone who is autistic, I think that last sentence you just said might lean you one way on the scale. And I think it's obvious which way. Rejection dysphoria, or whatever it's called, is a lot more common in people with autism. So she's probably extremely sensitive to being like rejected, and anybody saying mean, everybody hates you.
And I get that. If you're not like used to it, it can be a little intimidating to ask somebody to move out of your way at the grocery store. Like, why should I have the right to inconvenience that person to move their basket even though they're inconveniencing me already? Like, I fully get that. It's just something you gotta become jaded to with time and hate. A healthy dose of hate needs to nestle into your soul for everyone else in the grocery store. Maybe it's not healthy that I do all the shopping.
No, but I don't want to do it. This sounds terrible.
Top comment. I'm going not the asshole. If he noticed you skirting around him, it would have been polite of him to move the fuck out of the way, rather than somehow making it your fault. Also, for reasons I've never fathomed, people who are absolutely oblivious to what's going on around them and who have no spatial awareness seem to congregate in grocery stores.
They do.
I guess most people have to go to a grocery store at some point, and then it's just more obvious that they're there because they're standing horizontally across the aisle while zoning out and looking at the Cheerios.
I was just thinking about how generally I am extremely unaware of my surroundings, to the point that you frequently comment on it. But when I'm in the grocery store, I'm so paranoid about inconveniencing other people that I'm like constant alert for, am I in anyone's way? Am I, okay, that person's going this way, I better go this way and get out of their way.
That's because you have such a fear of being an asshole to other people.
I do! I don't want to inconvenience. I would much rather inconvenience myself than inconvenience anyone else.
This goes right back to our first story, where you're like, no, I could see if I broke the vase, I would offer to pay for it. But if somebody broke my vase, I'd be like, no, that's okay. It's the exact same thing, Kristie.
Yeah. Oh, but the whole time I'm extremely aware of what is going on around me in the grocery store and who's where, and if I'm in anybody's way, I never once look at a single person's face or could identify them at a later time.
Okay.
I would be the worst police witness ever. There was a person. They might have had a face. Couldn't actually tell you, but they probably had a face.
Maybe just keep in mind to look at their face if you feel like you need to do a police report.
Yeah, all I'd be able to give the police is taller or shorter than me and heavier or skinnier than me. That's it.
Yeah, I guess try not to witness any crimes.
Oh, don't worry. I will not witness them. In my own little world, look down, don't look at anybody.
Scooch out of the murderer's way as he's running.
Excuse me, let me just scooch on by here.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Do the Midwest scooch.
Yeah.
While avoiding eye contact.
Sorry, I was looking for a comment that said you're the asshole or everyone sucks here, and I just could not find them. I bet they're downvoted to hell.
Yeah, everybody says NTA, and those are the only ones that are upvoted.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think you're the asshole, but I do think you need to get a little jaded to other people's opinions when you go to the grocery store, because everyone gathers there, and there are several assholes there at any given time. You just, if their cart's in the way, kick the cart out of your way. You don't have to be polite to them.
Like the "this is Sparta" kick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just flip the cart. If they look too weak to pick the cart back up, set it upside down. And say, that's your problem now.
Okay, this one is from Best of Redditor Updates. My boyfriend has been collecting my rent for a free house.
Like, does that mean that he got the house for free and he's charging you rent? That does seem a little bit like asshole behavior, if I'm understanding that right.
I've been living with my boyfriend for a year. I'm a graduate student, so I have a very minimal income, and I'm very upset about this, but my boyfriend says he was trying to do something nice. My boyfriend and I moved in together to a house that he found. He arranged all the landlord stuff and told me to send $1,000 a month to the landlord's bank account. This is very normal rent for our area, but I could have probably spent less if I lived in an apartment. I have been doing so for the last year, only to find out yesterday from his mom that his parents actually own the house and they aren't charging us rent.
Okay, $1,000 a month is a lot, and he doesn't even own the house. His parents do?
Yes, and they're not charging him rent.
They said they're not charging both of you rent.
Yes.
So that's insane. What is this bank account you're sending the money to?
Upon hearing this, I asked my boyfriend about the $13,000 that he has had me send to some account, and he told me that he was doing it for me as a gift to give back later so I could see how much I've saved.
You know what's another good way to save? Just having $1,000 a month that you could be investing in stocks instead of your boyfriend shoving into a bank account.
I'm livid. I'm not irresponsible with money. I have no debt, and I even have some savings. Over the last year, there have been things I've had to miss out on because they just weren't financially feasible without this money.
Yeah, $12,000 a year is a lot. You could do so many things. Do you have a car that you need to pay off? Because that's half a car.
There have been some times when I couldn't get my tires replaced or couldn't get a new blazer to replace my threadbare one, so my boyfriend got to swoop in and save the day. It always made me feel so bad that he could live just fine on his salary, not that much higher than mine, but I couldn't live well on mine. Now I know it's because he was spending $1,000 less than I was every month.
Yeah, that'll help a lot, it turns out.
I don't know what to do. I feel upset and uncomfortable about the whole situation, but my boyfriend won't listen to me. He keeps saying that this was supposed to be a surprise gift and I'm taking it the wrong way. I don't know what to think. Am I overreacting?
I feel like you're just gonna have to tattle. Like, did you tell his parents that you're paying rent at all? It sounds like she didn't. It sounds like she went and turned to her boyfriend and discussed this in private instead of when the parents said that being like, then who have I been paying rent to?
Yeah. Edit to clarify that his parents didn't seem to know anything about this and were under the impression that neither of us was paying rent.
I would be so mad if I gave someone free rent in a house and then they turned around and were subleasing. Essentially, right?
Yeah. Like, if I was his parents, I'd be like, what the heck is wrong with you?
That's your girlfriend. You're supposed to like her.
Okay, the other thing that gets me is he keeps saying this was supposed to be a surprise gift. You can't gift someone their own money.
No. What were you going to hand back? The exact money? Were you going to give her the interest? This isn't a gift. This is a burden. I can't possibly get on boyfriend's side on this one. That's insane.
Top comment, you aren't overreacting. He broke your trust and doesn't really respect you if it's true. I'd ask for the money back now. How do you know he even still has it, really? This would be a relationship ending in my book. He's treating you like a child, not a partner. OP responds, I asked for it yesterday and he got very angry. He said that if he gives it back while I'm mad at him, I'll leave him, and that I owe him anyway for the times he supported me financially.
He didn't support you financially. He is taking your money.
He wouldn't have had to support her financially if he wasn't taking her money. She could have afforded those tires and that blazer if she wasn't paying $1,000 a month to him for no reason.
And he thinks that saying no when you ask for the money back is gonna make you stay with him and not just drive the wedge deeper? At this point, you're gonna have to go ask his parents for the money.
She continues, I know I should pay him back some of it, but I certainly don't owe him $13,000, more like $1,000. Also, if he was serious about doing this and giving it to her as a gift, I think the 1 year mark is where you give it to her as a gift. Look what you've saved over the past year. She's paid him $13,000. That's 13 months of rent. So it's been more than a year. How long was he going to keep collecting this rent to give it to her? I don't think he was going to give it to her. And he's just saying that now that she caught him.
If he was going to give it to her, my guess would be as like a graduation present.
I would think like at the 1 year mark, but...
Well, my thought was that would be when you move out of the house. Traditionally, you would move out of your grad school house when you finish grad school. It kind of sounds like maybe he wasn't planning on giving it back to you. I don't know.
People are concerned that she just let him handle all the landlord stuff and, like, didn't check any of it out herself. Like, why would you do that?
I mean, he is your boyfriend. You're supposed to be able to trust him?
Yeah. She said, I signed a lease and was told that the total rent was $2,000 per month. I didn't sit down and read every single term because I trusted my boyfriend.
Yeah, you thought this was a good partnership.
So that was in the relationships thread, and then people told her to take this over to the legal advice. Can I sue my boyfriend for fake rent that he took from me?
I feel like your relationship is dissolving very quickly, and I can't blame you. Although, before I went to suing my boyfriend for the rent, I might just tattle on him to his parents. I feel like that's a good step.
I don't know, he's an adult. What are his parents going to do to him?
I think at 28, my parents could very easily get me to do whatever they wanted. Especially if I'm living in their house for free and charging someone rent. Like, no, I don't know if there's an age where my parents can stop scolding me. You're laughing. If your mom called you up and started scolding you, would you just hang up on her?
No, I'd be like, I'm sorry, Mommy, I'll do better.
Right? We're almost 40. No, this is just how our relationship with the parents work until one of us dies.
So then on legal advice, she goes ahead and, like, gives the backstory to them and then says, turns out he has been saving this money to give to me as a gift later. I've seen the bank statement. So he did save it. He didn't, like, spend it or anything.
Okay.
Which is good. He will not give me the money right now because he says I'll take it and leave him. Yeah.
Probably.
During the last year, my boyfriend has helped me out a couple times financially, and he says he can just keep all the money, although he's probably spent about $1,000 on me, not the full $13,000. I know I probably fucked up by sending the money directly into the account. Is there a way to legally get that money back? Shouldn't this post say ex-boyfriend?
That was the legal advice?
No. Then there's, like, so legal advice is asking, like, everyone in legal advice is asking, did you sign a lease of any sort? If not, your boyfriend was charging you $1,000 per month in rent. It doesn't matter if he was not being charged rent himself. She says the lease doesn't say anything about rent. I looked back at it and it basically says that we won't trash the house or move other people in. His parents didn't know about any of this, as far as I know. It's their house, not my soon-to-be ex-boyfriend's.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it sounds like the lease didn't say anything about payment, so what does that mean about the money you're transferring? I guess you're transferring it under false pretenses.
Okay, on to the final update 2 weeks later. I told my ex-boyfriend I was moving out with or without the money. He told me that if I left him, he could keep the gift for himself. I told him whatever and called his mother and told her I was leaving. She asked why, and I told her the whole story. She finally tattled.
I'm so upset that you took this long to tattle.
She asked me to give her a few minutes and then she would get back to me. I heard her call my ex in the other room and could hear her yelling at him through the phone. She called me back and told me to take pictures of the rooms. I sent them to her and she gave me the all clear over text. She also sent me an apology for my ex's behavior. I left and thought that was that. A few days later, I got a check in the mail for $15,000 from my ex's mom. Not exactly justice, because the original money was indeed probably gone, but I walked away feeling pretty good about the whole thing.
I mean, yeah, I figured if the parents cared enough about the two of you to let you stay there rent-free, they'd be willing to probably return the money, or at least yell at him for and make him return the money.
I really hope that they make him pay them the money back. Because it really sucks if they're letting their son and his girlfriend live in their house rent-free, and then he's stealing money from her, and then they pay $15,000 to make it right. So they've lost out on $15,000 and a year's worth of rent that they could have been getting for that house.
I am almost certain that mom wrote the check to you with full intention of getting that $12,000 from him.
Yes. But still, she overpaid by $3,000, probably as an apology, right?
Probably as an apology, and please don't sue us.
Yes.
But I really think that those parents probably liked you from that story. So, I don't know, if I really liked the girl that was dating my idiot son, and he did something this bad, I might be like, here's an apology on top of the $12,000.
Yes. It's significant that Mom asked OP to take pictures of the rooms before she walked out. It shows Mom anticipated that X would trash the house and claim that OP did it. I wonder if Mom had experience of X doing something similar in the past.
That is Very true. I assumed that it was just a quick check on the rooms before she moved out and being like, hey, I crossed these T's and dotted these I's, but yeah, it is future-proofing things for you too.
It's weird that this exploitive, dishonest person has such a nice, ethical mom. The apple fell far from the tree in this case.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that one.
I don't know, sometimes you can do everything right and it turns out your son is still just a dumbass.
I knew plenty of guys in high school and college who were kind of dumbasses like this, and their parents were very put together.
Yeah.
So, I'm not super surprised. Am I the asshole for kicking my ex-coworker from the team group chat?
If they're an ex-coworker, they're no longer working there, yeah, kick them out. They don't get access to that proprietary information anymore.
At the salon where I work, we have a group chat on Snapchat where we stay connected and share photos of our kids, talk about team events and coffee orders, things like that.
Okay, so it's like a personal, not work group thread. I feel like that's a little mean to cut one of your friends out just because they don't work with you anymore. But were they a bitch? Did they deserve it? These Reddit posts are making me extremely cynical. I'm like, always questioning, did they deserve it?
I mean, they do like to put twists in there.
Yeah.
So it does make you second guess things. I have definitely had a couple where I was waiting for the twist and I'm like, where's the twist? And no twist came and I'm like, oh no. Over the time that I've worked here, we've had multiple people leave for other jobs and opportunities, but they always remove themselves from the chat. It's always been an understanding that the chat is for current employees. It's never a big deal. You leave the job, you leave the chat.
I don't know, that seems a little mean. Like, if I'm friends with my coworkers, I might want to keep in touch with them a little bit. See what they're up to, what's going on in their lives.
I mean, they can send a text.
I guess.
Like, this is technically a work chat.
It doesn't sound like they're discussing work, though.
I mean, they might be, like, coffee orders and stuff. Like, it's kind of a casual one, but I wouldn't be surprised if they type work stuff in there. Anyways, we had a coworker that left in May, and it was very civil. There wasn't any bad blood. She was opening her own business. We were all happy for her. But here's the thing, she never left the chat. For months, she would continue to have opinions on things that don't affect her anymore. New products, system updates, etc. Ma'am, why do you care?
Okay, so they are talking about work things.
Yeah, it's just a very casual Snapchat thread, but they're also talking about, like, should we stock this new product and system updates and things like that.
Yeah. And now she's competition. Don't tell her what products you're stocking.
Edit for context. Before this week, the majority of coworkers had complained that she was still in the chat. I mostly stayed out of it or sharing, yeah, that's kind of annoying. I'm not one that's super active in the chat anyways. Collectively, most people were both her friend and annoyed that she hadn't left yet.
Okay, so it sounds like everyone who still worked there had reached a consensus about what needed to happen in the situation.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that you kind of graduate from when you leave, right?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, it's just sort of a work thing. If you want to hang out with us, that's cool, but do it outside of this chat. It's kind of like the people who go back to high school to visit the teachers. Like, no, you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
It all came to a head yesterday when we had a client come in and shared that when they went to ex-coworker's new business, she was talking smack about our salon. Naturally, most of the current employees were rubbed the wrong way. It was brought up that she was still in the chat, but no one wanted to be the one to kick her out because A, she should be self-aware enough to leave on her own. Clearly she's not, it's been months. And B, they didn't want to ruin the friendships with this person over something like this. I, being relatively new in comparison to my other coworkers, offered to be the one to do it, as I don't have much skin in the game. Eventually, my manager asked me to do it, so I did. And then, crickets. I heard absolutely nothing.
I feel like the manager should have been the one to handle this. Why are you making one of your employees take the fall?
She volunteered. Flash forward to this morning, I found out she was cussing me out to multiple of my coworkers and created a new group chat called OG Insert Salon Name. Without me, of course.
Did any of your coworkers join it? Because if they did, that's like extremely hypocritical. They wanted her out. She made her get out. And now they're like, okay, we'll go join her new group chat without you.
Edit for context. The new chat my ex-coworker made, no one joined.
Okay, good. I'm so glad your coworkers had your back on this.
They were just added by her. Some left and some were just confused and continued to use the other chat. I found out through coworkers talking about it this morning. They were just talking about how bizarre the situation was. It didn't feel like anyone was actively leaving me out. So, am I the asshole for kicking her out of the chat? Should I have just left it alone?
No, everyone wanted her to go. It was a group consensus thing. You're just the one who was brave enough to do it. You had your manager's approval to do it. So I feel like you're not the asshole. I mean, this one person that you kicked out of the group probably thinks you are the asshole, but she's the asshole first for staying in that group, spying on your salon, and then talking smack about it.
Yeah, it sounds like she was staying in there kind of half so that she could learn secrets, right?
Yeah.
Steal clients.
Corporate espionage.
Yeah, and with like group work chats and stuff, it's just kind of polite to remove yourself and expected that your manager or someone will boot you if you don't.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, in my line of work, if you don't remove yourself from like social accounts and things, you could be held liable.
Yes.
So the first thing I do when I leave a job for any reason is remove myself from every single Facebook account, because I have had a coworker actually get sued because he forgot to remove himself as an admin from a LinkedIn page.
Wow, that's kind of terrible.
It is. So it's something you just have to be aware of, but like I don't think this would ever get that extreme.
Yeah, this is a private group chat, not like public social media stuff.
Yeah, it's mostly just exchanging photos of your kids and like casually talking about work. But I don't know, I feel like it's just sort of respectful to leave the work group chat. Maybe not respectful, professional? Is that a better word for it?
Yeah. If you still want to keep in contact with all your old ex-coworker friends, start a chat with each of them individually or something. A non-work related chat. Because you don't work there anymore.
Otherwise, you're going to have an individual chat for every, like, generation of workers there.
Yeah.
Like, every time somebody leaves, you got to start a new group chat. Going to the comments. Not the asshole, but as another fellow stylist, this is the most stylist thing I've ever heard. My God. Somebody asked them, what are the odds the old coworker stayed in the chat to try and poach clients? This is very common, but my salon never let it get this far. We kick them out of the chat the second they leave or get fired. That's just the smart business decision.
It is.
And then a few people agree with you. The asshole, apart from your ex-colleague, is your manager. If it's a work chat, she needs to manage it and set the boundaries. And that means when people leave, they are removed from the chat. Not let people do it themselves, not let it drag on for months, and not throw an employee under the bus. Not the asshole.
Yeah, I do really feel like that's something that the manager should have taken care of. I mean, nice of you to volunteer to do it, but the manager should have handled this a long time ago.
Yeah, it got a little out of control. It's fixed now, and maybe she'll do better in the future.
Would I be the asshole for refusing to give up my office chair to a senior coworker?
I mean, no, that's just the kind of cutthroat industry you're in, I suppose. You got the good office chair, so you need to defend it.
I work in a shared office space where we all have the same basic chairs. A few months ago, I bought my own ergonomic chair because of back issues.
Oh, you bought the chair? Well, then why would you ever give it up to someone?
Now one of my older coworkers, 55 male, keeps complaining that it's unfair I get the comfy chair while everyone else has the standard ones.
You can just go to the office store and buy your own chair, bro.
He's been hinting loudly that I should rotate it around so everyone gets a turn. Yesterday, he straight up sat in it when I went to grab lunch. When I came back, he said, "See, sharing isn't so hard."
That is one hell of a line right there. Sharing isn't so hard. Could he be talking down to you any harder?
Like you're a kindergartner.
At that point, you just need to hand him the receipt and be like, see, buying a chair isn't that hard.
I told him that's my personal property, not office equipment, and he got offended, saying I'm disrespecting my elders.
He's 55.
He disrespected you first.
He's not that old. I get that your back hurts at 55. Mine hurts in my 30s. But it's not like he's even a senior citizen yet. What do you mean disrespecting your elders? I will fight you at 55.
Would I be the asshole if I told HR I don't want him using it anymore?
No, tell HR. That's the most tame response that you would be justified in doing. Get like a lock for your chair. Like, can you get one of those clubs that you use in your car and just put it from like armrest to armrest?
That is a good idea. Petty, but good.
I think petty is the correct solution here. You could hand him the receipt and be like, hey, this chair was like $120. Unless you're a dumbass with money, you can afford $120 for a chair. Like, make it a little petty when you hand it to him.
I might start renting out the chair. Okay, $10 a day.
Yeah. Charge rent on the chair. I like that.
And then once he sat in it for 12 days, you have enough money to buy another chair.
Yeah. A better chair.
And just keep doing this. Charge everybody in the office rent for sitting in the nice chairs, and then just use that money to buy more chairs and make more money renting them out.
This is a good business idea. You could become a chair slumlord. What are they going to do? Go back to sitting in the wooden crappy chairs that your office apparently bought?
Top comment. Your chair isn't communal. If he wants lumbar support, he can invest in it like you did. Honestly, going to HR sounds reasonable if he keeps crossing the line. It's about respect, not age.
Yeah. It's about respecting your coworkers, and he is definitely not respecting you.
You bought it yourself? It is private property, not office property. Make sure he knows how much it was, and that you have the receipt, and will press charges for the theft of private property if he so much as imagines it under his butt ever again.
Right?
Okay, he's not like he stole it, he just sat in it. I feel like pressing charges is a bit extreme.
No, I think this is an overreaction situation.
But I like this comment thread because it does get a little bit ridiculous. He probably farted on it too.
I was gonna say that. He's 55. Men fart all the time at 55.
My first thought, OP, go fart in his chair and lick his coffee mug rim. Ew, why would OP put their tongue anywhere his mouth has been? But his headphone set should definitely go down the back of the pants.
There's a perfectly good toilet in that office. Just dip it in there.
You're right, they should fart in his mug and lick the chair. No, don't do that. Just fart in the mug.
I don't like this thread, Kristie. It's getting a little weird.
But most people are saying just tell him the price in the store and to go buy one himself.
That's one of the reasonable responses, yeah.
Or just send an email to the whole office with the link for the chair, since everybody apparently wants it.
That's also a reasonable response. But that runs the risk of one of the owners of the company being like, oh yeah, our chairs do need an upgrade, and then everyone else gets that chair on company dime.
That's true.
You can't have everyone else be happy about something. That's not the American way.
And then you'd be like, okay, well, I'll take this chair I bought and paid for myself home, and you give me a new chair company, right? And they're like, no, you already have a chair. You're like, that's not fair, but you know that's how it's going to go.
I feel like they would just buy chairs for everyone personally, and you could take that home. I don't know. I think the real solution, though, is you need to take the seat with you whenever you leave your desk.
Ooh.
So that's just,
How hard is it to take off? Because, yeah, that would be a good idea. Because you know he was farting in it.
He was. I just hope that you got a chair that's sort of like a bike, where you take the seat with you when you go into the grocery store, so it's just like a metal pole. Yeah, sit on it now, jerk.
All right, that's our last story for this week of Josh and Kristie stealing the internet.
Sit on that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.